Chris Yandak, C1 Review, covering Las Vegas and the world. NFL Live, Thursday Night Football special edition here live. We're live in the room. Tom is excited, one of our longtime fans down there in the right chat corner. We're doing a weekly college football show. We're going to talk tonight college football playoff and bowl games, a couple of bowl games. Lane, how are you? Thanks so much for joining in on our live tonight here on YouTube.
Man, I'm glad to be here. I'm having a good time, man. I kind of low-key prep with some NFL. I've been watching the game. It looks like, the Falcons are dropping too many passes. The Bijan Robinson fumble. It's indicative of what is going on there and indicative of a front office and coaching staff that just need to go.
No, I agree with you on that. I'm here tonight because we're going to talk a lot about coaches next week when we do our regular segment on Wednesday nights, which drops usually every Wednesday nights, Las Vegas time. I'm going to start by asking you, let's just talk about the college football playoff and just begin. I think truly Oklahoma and Alabama is going to be the best game of the first round. Thoughts, prediction?
Yes, it is the one that is most likely to be the best game. Miami, Texas A&M has potential as well. We'll talk about that one. But, this one, why wouldn't you think that it'd be the best game? Because they played a good one early in the year, which Oklahoma won. Alabama, Oklahoma, they both beat, by virtue, top 10, playoff team. Texas A&M did not beat a playoff team, interestingly enough. But I like this matchup. Ty Simpson did not look great. I'm not very high on the Alabama quarterback. For as much size as Alabama has, they don't really use it too much, other than lining up an offensive lineman to do a trick play. I'm going to go ahead and go with Oklahoma in this one. I don't like the quarterbacks at all, but it's in Norman. I think Brent Venables is a much better schemer defensively. He's going to frustrate Kalen DeBoer in his offensive attack. Give me the Sooners in kind of the same way that they won the first one.
They won by 2 in the first one. And the thing I have to tell you is that it's just like, I've said this for weeks, and I think I've said this to you on multiple occasions. I love Oklahoma's defense. I don't love their offense.
Right. And the thing is, you can, by that measure, maybe you like Alabama's more, but overall you feel kind of the same about Alabama, but because it's DeBoer, it just hasn't quite embodied the spirit of Nick Saban. So I'm a little lower on their defense. So when it comes to this game, I love the defense for Oklahoma. Don't really like their offense. Alabama, their defense, their offense, where's Ryan Willis? But, we could talk about that, doing a whole hour on that, right? But I feel the same about their offense. So the defense for the Sooners is going to really power them in this game. I'm taking the Crimson. Well, the home team Crimson, the Sooners.
Game decided by 7 points or less for sure. Probably the closest one of the 4. Probably the closest one, Oklahoma, Alabama. Let's move along. Tulane, Ole Miss. I have a really interesting feeling about this game. Lane Kiffin's gone. A bunch of his staff's gone. John Summerall's sticking around to coach them through while being the new head coach of Florida. Can this be a close game? I think it can be, no?
So what's interesting is Pete Golden, the new offense, the former DC now turned head coach for Ole Miss, he canceled his introductory press conference because he wanted to be about the players. So, I think for anyone who would say, well, this is a battle of two teams with outgoing coaches, but, Summerall's the good guy here, Pete Golden can kind of cast himself as that as well. He's at least from a, politicking, grease and palm standpoint, right? He's trying to endear himself. So that kind of is canceled out. I just think Ole Miss has the better players here. This is one of those where, I agree that if you're going to have a playoff, you have to have, the G5ers in there. But I think this is just going to be what happens as a result of that. An early round blowout, much like you see in the conference tournament, in the big dance with the men's and women's college basketball tournament. It'll be a little closer maybe than people think, but I'm going to go with Ole Miss in a solid victory.
Yeah, again, I just wonder what those Ole Miss players feel like though with Lane Kiffin leaving. I just
Yeah.
wonder, do they even care? I know that sounds crazy to say, but it was going to be an uphill battle to get to that semifinal and final round already. You know, the point be told is that it's just kind of like, I don't know. I like Tulane. I think they can keep it close. I really do. I think John Summerall's just got nothing to lose. He's got the greatest opening job in college football now. I believe in John Summerall. I'm on board. I really like what Florida did, and I think it'll be a close game, and I'll be excited to watch that one. Moving along, the other one, James Madison in Oregon. What can they show at Oregon?
Oh, I mean, well, I believe his name's Wayne Knight, the running back. Don't quote me on that. I think that's his name. That might also be the guy from that starred as Newman and Seinfeld. They got the same name, I think. But they got a really good running back for the Dukes. They got a really good running back. This is another one of those blowouts. You know, James Madison deserved to be there using the metrics. And by the way, as an aside, stop adjusting the metrics to help Notre Dame, okay? Notre Dame whined, pitched a fit this entire week. I'm tired of it. Stop it, okay? All you had to do was make an extra point against Texas A&M, and this whole narrative changes, all right? But I digress. Give me Oregon.
Still got to
give me
win that game. In that game, you know. Listen, here's what I'm going to say, and this is the only thing I have to say, and then we'll talk about TAMU Miami. And I'm sure TAMU is happier that they're playing Miami and not Notre Dame, by the way. I think you're 100% right about that, but here's what I'm going to say to you. Ready? Miami losses. Southern Methodist University, Louisville at home. Big favorites in both games. Sorry, they shouldn't have been in. Someone else should have been in. If you don't want to put Notre Dame in, fine, but Miami. Now, speaking of them, they play TAMU. I think TAMU, again, SEC schedule, who they played, where they're going. I don't think Miami wins in this environment, no.
Oh, man. Now, see, we talked about this with the Texas and Texas A&M game. If I say I believe that the Aggies will win, that means they might not. And we saw what happened. You know, what gives me hope in this game, Carson Beck, I don't think he's a good quarterback. He can become a turnover machine and a mistake machine. And this is a front seven that can really stop that. The problem is going to be the defensive backs for A&M. Other than Will Lee, I don't like the rest of the defensive backs. So if Carson can get it down the field, there's going to be some open guys. I think if this was last year's Miami team, we had Cam Ward and Xavier Estrepo, man, this would be a problem. But what kind of scares you for A&M offensively? Marcel Reed kind of got exposed a little bit. Marcel one read. If that open guy's not there, whoa! And now Ruben Bain is there for the front seven of Miami. But like you said, it's at home. Let's see. Let me go ahead and give me the Aggies, but I feel the same way I did about the Texas game.
TAMU 28, Miami 21, my opinion.
I hope so. Let me say that.
I hope so for you too. I'm rooting for TAMU as well. Obvious reasons. Okay, let's talk about some of the bowl games. I want to start out with just talking about a couple of things. First, I don't know if it's going to be Kyle Whittingham's last game in the Las Vegas Bowl here, but what a great matchup with him and Matt Rule. Seriously, Nebraska, Utah. This could actually be a game where both teams have a lot of their players and they actually care about winning. No.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game. You know, Nebraska kind of limped to the end there. They have every reason to want to kind of, you know, end it on a high note despite the things that happened. But Utah, who knows if it's going to be Whittingham's swan song? He might just announce it right afterwards. You know, there's certain people that, you know, I don't want to have this whole year-long goodbye. You know, he's not the Coach K type. So, man, this is tough. It's always tough picking bowl games, you know. But like you said, both teams are going to play. Oh man, I need to see the Big 12 grab some W's here to kind of shift the narrative towards they're a fun conference. Give me Whittingham, give me the Utes out west, and what should be a nice environment for them because, you know, close for fans.
They're playing, if you can believe it, which is a really weird time. They're playing on New Year's Day but they're playing at 12:30 Las. I think it's 12:30 Las Vegas time, if memory serves me right. It's an early game actually for the entertainment capital of the world, which will be kind of fun. But it's later this year. It's usually like right after Christmas or right before Christmas. It's actually going to be on New Year's Eve this year.
And some of those, couple of bowls. I know the Bahamas Bowl was no longer, and I know one other bowl. It's on the tip of my tongue. Can't think of it. I'm sure somebody will in the comments, but there's 2 bowls this year that are gone. So, it kind of has shifted some of these others. Those are TV spots they need to fill based on and, all this type of stuff. So we're going to have this, bowls that aren't at their traditional time, which is kind of unfortunate for the long timers, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, we got a lot of other things to look forward to, though. Moving forward, I want to talk about that. Speaking of that, fun bowls, island things. Hawaii had such a great year, and they're going to probably beat Cal, I think, on the island. They like playing in their own bowl game. But let's just sum up Hawaii season. Cal, Hawaii, your thoughts?
They brought in a really good defensive coordinator for Hawaii. There is a toughness and an edge to them that was not there in previous iterations of this team in the program. That was always the perception. It's like, yeah, they're going to throw it down the field, but they can't hit nobody. Well, these guys can hit now. Remember, I had to watch them for a full game when Sam Houston was out there. And that was the thing I noticed. I mean, that Jeremiah Otis guy, I think I'm not sure if he got hurt for the year or not. I think he's still playing. I hope he is, just so people can get to see him a little bit. But Cal, they've got their quarterback. He's from the island too, so he's going to be motivated as well. Man, I'm going to take Cal. I'm going to take Berkeley, man. They're going to take that energy from the Bay Area, the fun down there. Like I said, they got a native QB. Give it to the Bears, the Golden Bears, in a fun, close game. And this is the one game, the one non-playoff game that I'm looking forward to the most, honestly.
38-35 is the victor in that one. No.
Yeah.
38-31, 38-35. Oh, I will look forward to watching this. Is it going to be on Christmas Eve again, as it always is?
Yeah. Christmas Eve at 5:00 your time, 7 p.m. here Central.
I'll be watching that. There's nothing else to watch on Christmas Eve at that point. I'll absolutely have that game on. Absolutely love Hawaii in the bowl games. Let's talk Las Vegas's college football team. Great year. Again, still can't get over the Boise State three-headed monsters we talked about. It's just not happening for whatever reason. The thing of what it comes down to at the end of the day is probably can beat Ohio in the Frisco Bowl. No, 11 wins, 11-3 still looks like a great year. No.
Oh yeah, it's a good win. I mean, remember, this is Dan Mullen's first year. That first year, normally you throw the first year out a lot of the time. They got to get their guys in and get rooted and get the culture going and all that stuff. I mean, 10 wins with some tough road games. You look good in a couple of them, but then you look kind of down in one of them. In some of the losses, but against a MAC team, it's going to be out in Frisco. So go ahead and give me the Running Rebels. Like I said,
I think they'll be playing all. I think they'll be playing all their players. I think they're just a better overall team. I think if I had a choice between picking a Mountain West Conference team at the top and the MAC Conference, I'm taking the MWC every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Oh yeah, come on now.
All right. Iowa Vandy, thoughts? I think this could be a good one. I wish we were getting, honestly, and I think you would agree, I wish we were getting Vanderbilt and Notre Dame in a bowl game with all the players playing, all things being equal. That would have been a fun bowl game, no?
Yeah, and, for Notre Dame to prove that, hey, we belong and all these things, okay, you think you should have been there? Let's see if you can beat a Vandy team that didn't make it as well. That would have been great. Great theater. You know what I mean? I am oh man, this is a fun one and one that's cool to think about because again, it's a OG Kirko, as I call him, the coach for Iowa, Kirk Ferentz. It's him trying to slow down Diego Pavia. Oh, inject that in my veins, man. I'm gonna go with OG Kirko. I'm gonna go with Kirk Ferentz. I think Diego Pavia does a couple of cool things, but this game is like 21-17.
This is the other good bowl game worth watching as well, by the way.
Indeed.
All right.
And this was on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve at 9 a.m. your time.
Absolutely. Okay. Fill me in. Prairie View versus South Carolina State. Historical references, storylines, all of it. Help me.
So this is the de facto Black college national championship. So the highest levels of Black college football. So there's even D2 level college football, all of that. This is high level. This would be on the FCS level, which means it's the biggest one for Black college football. They're going to play it in Atlanta. The Celebration Bowl is the champion of the SWAC, Prairie View, versus the champion of the MEAC, South Carolina State. Again, Prairie View is the new guy. Prairie View is the new guy here. SWAC, MEAC in a perfect world, they probably want something like Jackson State FAMU. The problem is FAMU is now in the SWAC conference realignments kind of altered that. But South Carolina State has been here before. Now they've gone against the Coach Prime versions of Jackson State at a time, and then they won, I believe, within the last couple of years. Man. Just like the one we talked about against Jackson State for Prairie View, my heart says Prairie View, my head says South Carolina State. Prairie View has been out there for 4 days in Atlanta. You got some young men out in Atlanta for 4 days, and I haven't heard anything on nothing Atlanta. Crazy, but they called the Buckhead flu for a reason.
There are so many parties, clubs, events, and things to do in Atlanta, one of the major cities in America. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Please all make it to the game. Please all make it to the game, Prairie View. Please make it to the game, right? Please make it. Please make it in one piece. Don't anybody get arrested. Don't have don't have one of those crazy moments. Okay, finally, I'm just going to tell you before we get any of this, I don't know all the details of what's going on in Michigan except for the obvious. We wish everybody the best. We hope it all goes well. It's unfortunate to see things like this always happen. Always health first, mental health first, well-being first. Texas versus Michigan. Here's my question, just talking about the football. How does Michigan focus on this football game based on everything that's happened this week?
Man, I don't know. That's the tough part. And it's, we talk about Notre Dame canceling. This would be a time. This would definitely be acceptable if they, I don't know. I think Biff Poggi, the Michigan, assistant, who was a Michigan assistant, and the head coach at Charlotte. Now he's back as an assistant. He's the intern now. But the thing is, he's part of that whole tree of just, things that have happened that aren't football. We should be talking about how fun Bryce Underwood is. We should be talking about Bryce Underwood versus Arch Manning. We should be talking about that, but because of just some of the choices that Michigan has made, over the years and things, and like we say, we don't have all the details yet, but it's more this stuff, off-field stuff that we got to talk about. So the only thing I would say is if you're a player in this, you're just saying, hey, let me get some stuff on tape. And if I don't like the way things shake out, I can leave. That's really the only thing you say. The portal opens January 2nd, I think, somewhere around there. And that's your motivation. But for this one, how do you not take Texas? How do you not take Texas? Meanwhile, they're trying to show that, hey, we didn't stink. We can actually do what we couldn't do against Ohio State, get a win over a Big Ten team, book in what's a 10-win year. We can sell that, if you're Sark.
If you're filling out those free bowl contests on ESPN, which they still have, and you have to, I don't know if they still do the ones where you risk the amount from highest to lowest, but back in the day they used to have those contests where you had 30 bowls and you do the risk point ratio. If 30 points would be the team you think wins the most, right? Texas is going to be the 30s on everyone's thing if that's the roster. How could it not be? Right. Finally, you put out a newsletter this week talking about end of the season rewards for Sam Houston Bearcat Bites, of course, on X Twitter, which is obviously in the description below of this YouTube live, and this obviously segment that we're going to have separate and apart from it that people can watch if they just want to watch this. Let me ask you, what's going on? End of the year rewards, Bearcat Bites. Where can everybody find you?
So, Bearcat Bites, we're the only independent media covering Sam Houston football year round. I was able to find and glean positive moments off of a 2-win Sam Houston football season. That alone is worth reading down in those descriptions and following me there at Twitter X at Bearcat Bites.
Yeah, here's my response to you in this regard. I'm ready for next September as much as you are, even though we haven't even started the college football playoff games. We'll be back next week to talk coaching changes and coaching whatever's at our usual time, Wednesday. We'll drop it in the comment section below. Of course, as always, hit up Lane Fobbs, Bearcat Bites on Twitter. Lane, thanks so much for joining our NFL Live tonight during the Falcons and Buccaneers. Thank you for making it special, and happy holidays, sir. And of course, see you next Wednesday.
Happy holidays to you as well, sir, my friend. We'll see you next week. Happy to do it. All college football is good college football.
Even when Thursday night football is going on, ladies and gentlemen, in the background. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good one, okay?
All right, we'll see you.